Well, it appears we're going to go live. Yep. It seems we're live, but I don't see it on the screen. Which is a lag. It's all pretty interesting, but don't see what's going on over here, so let's do a refresh. Oh. It's all pretty interesting, but don't see what's going on over here, so let's do a refresh. Oh. Okay, it seems like we're up and running, so I should probably talk to the camera a bit and see what's going on. And if anybody pops in here, please let me know. I should probably add that as a banner. Okay, so talking about the Mandalorian. Now we got the season 2 finale is coming up, and I'm really looking forward to that. Season 1 felt like a much smaller show than this. I mean, I don't think we really got the epic scope of it until we met Moff Gideon at the end of season 1 with episode 7. So that's kind of an interesting thing to have him pop up. And yeah, I think that was pretty cool. So this season has been much, much more, what's a good word for it? Much more epic, much more larger in scope. It's much more Clone Wars. All the stuff that we've been building towards over the years, the background stuff, the Filoni-verse, as they call it, that's been really building, and it's nice to see that finally start to pay off in live action. I mean, we've got it in the animated for so long that getting live action is really nice. I'm kind of curious where it's going to go, though. I'm kind of curious what's going to be the long term. I've seen a lot of speculation, and that's really what I'm wondering about, because everybody who's speculating is doing this large scope. Like, the number one thing everybody's talking about is Thrawn. And as much as Thrawn is an interesting character, and I look forward to seeing him, I don't know if Thrawn is really, if he's going to be that big a deal here in The Mandalorian until maybe at least next season. Is he behind Gideon? It's possible. But right now, I think Gideon is the bad guy, and it's going to be the bad guy in next season as well. Giancarlo Esposito has talked about how he's going to come back for another season. So I get a feeling that we're going to get that. You know, we're not going to have... we're not going to suddenly have Thrawn next season as the big bad. He may be the overarching bad, but the talk has been more that it's going to be like the Arrowverse, where they'll come together for the big crossover event. So I don't necessarily think it's going to be where Thrawn is that big and important in The Mandalorian. I think it's going to be Moff Gideon for a while. I don't think we're going to see a resolution to this story. Will he get Grogu back? Maybe. Will there be a big duel between the two of them? Possibly, but it doesn't feel set up yet. I mean, yeah, it feels like he's going to have to confront him, but Din doesn't know a lot of stuff that people are making assumptions on. He doesn't know that what Bo-Katan is after is the Darksaber. Well, he knows that she's going after the Darksaber, but he didn't connect that it's Moff Gideon that has it. He's never seen it. Gideon didn't pull it out till after he crashed. So not only does Din not know that Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, he doesn't know that that's who Bo-Katan is going after. Name never came up, just like Thrawn's name never came up in front of him. Din is pretty ignorant about everything going on in space. He knows that this guy Gideon has the kid, and he wants him back. But not only does he not know that this would interest Bo-Katan, he doesn't even know that he should bring the Beskar spear. He has no idea, because he wasn't there, and he doesn't know that there's a lightsaber involved in any of this. He doesn't know the Darksaber even is part of this. So I think a lot of people are leaping to conclusions that I don't think. I think there's a good chance they're going to get their ass kicked. Maybe Mando loses a hand. I mean, it is the second season, and people lose hands in the second seasons and second movies. Yeah, I question whether it's going to be as big as people think it's going to be. Plus, you got to wonder exactly how much Din thinks of a threat Gideon is, because there's a certain amount of, he's seen 4 Dark Troopers, he's seen some Stormtroopers, but, how big a threat is he? I mean, people still think the Empire is dead, and now it's come, So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out and how much Din actually thinks going in. Because it is very possible that this is going to end on a down note, that this is not going to end with a happy ending, and we're going to, we could end with things worse. Maybe we end with them get captured, and we got to wait till next season. That's always possible. There's no guarantee there's going to be a big resolution. There's no guarantee that whoever Baby Yoda or Grogu spoke to there was no guarantee he spoke to anybody in the Jedi messaging system. But even if he did, there's no guarantee that person's even going to show up this season. They might just focus on a rescue mission that goes awry or a rescue mission that works. So a lot of people are speculating this is going to be much bigger than what, with not a lot of reason to. We've met a lot of characters, but there's no reason to pull all of them in. I mean, how would Din even know how to contact? Well, I guess they do have a ship now. So it's possible that he could reach out to her and say what's going on, and then maybe she'll go, "Oh, it's Gideon. I'm there." Maybe he'll call up and say, "Hey, I need your help," and she'll be like, "I'm really busy. Well, I'm going up against Moff Gideon." Okay, I'm there. It's possible, but there's a lot of things like that, and yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how it all works out, but I don't know if it's going to be quite as big as people expect it to be. There's a lot of talk about, maybe Mando is going to die and it'll become the Boba Fett show, or maybe Boba Fett's going to die and he's going to get Slave One. I have a feeling that he's going to end up with another version of the Razor Crest, a second Razor Crest, because first thing, they put out that ship, the Hasbro Labs ship, and I think that upset a lot of people who bought that. And that was an expensive ship. But I don't think I have a feeling that, yes, they completely destroyed it, but I could see him going to a junkyard or going to buy a new ship and coming up with the with another Razor Crest, because that's Razor Crest is a type of ship. So and it could be a junker, or it could that he's got to put back together, and so I think it's going to be. I don't think he's going to end up with Slave One, but I think the reason the Razor Crest was destroyed was so that they could highlight Slave One for a little bit because of fan service. You bring Boba Fett back, you want to see Slave One. Well, this is Din's story, so we should be following wherever he is, and if he's not on Slave One, then there's no reason to follow Slave One. So why would so you need to focus on Slave One, so you got to put Din in Slave One. So they didn't need to completely destroy it. They could have left it in some pieces. And yeah, it's possible they're going to leave Slave One to him, but I don't want them to. My thing is, I liked the Razor Crest. I thought it was a great ship. And if he gets like a second version of it, I think that would be great. I think it's a really neat design ship, and I like to see them bring it back, get a second version of it. I mean, all these ships we see, they're not all of them are custom. I mean, Slave One's got a history of being one of 5 ships, and then that Django stole the prototype ships, and he destroyed the other 4 as he was leaving with it. That's why we don't see a lot of Slave Ones. But all the other ships we see, they're usually built by some company, and then they're not that different than cars you buy. Some are older, so you see less of them, and some are like X-Wings. There's dozens of them everywhere. So I think we'll get I think he'll get a different ship. I don't think he'll get Slave One, and I have a feeling it'll be very similar, if not a Razor Crest. Like I said, I don't think we're going to have the big final showdown. They might fight, and I think if he doesn't call on Bo-Katan, then if he calls on Bo-Katan, then I could see why he would bring the spear to the fight. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to take the spear with him. He's going up against a starship full of people. Why would he take a spear? I mean, sure, he doesn't have his long rifle, but there's a couple on the ship. Boba's got extra weapons. I don't think a spear would be the first thing he would think to bring, even a Beskar spear. So, no, I don't think that we're going to get that big showdown, at least unless they meet with Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan talks about the Darksaber, and that's why he brings it. And it would seem a lot to put in one episode. Now, the one rumor we've heard about the episode is that it's 50 some odd minutes long, and that's probably going to be the longest one yet. And that's possible, but there's no other leaks about this entire episode, so you got to wonder even about that. I mean, this has been one of the closely guarded episodes of a TV show I've ever heard. I mean, nowadays, just about everything is leaked and spoiled before it even goes to air. So, yeah, I think that would be interesting. I'd like to see, I want to see the fight between them. I just don't think we're there yet. I think we're going to end up with a very Empire Strikes Back ending of this season. I think we're going to be on a downer note. I don't think he's going to have Grogu back. If anything, he might end up captured. Don't know. And then we start the 3rd season, him without his armor and him trying to escape, and could be a lot of things. But we don't know, because that's the whole point. A lot of these speculation things are just that, wild speculations. And everybody seems to be going big. It's like the talk about which Jedi is going to train Grogu. Well, first thing, there's no guarantee there's going to be a Jedi. This show is Lone Wolf and Cub. This show is about Din and Grogu. So unless you're going to bring a Jedi in who's going to be part of the series, I don't think you can bring somebody in that's going to be huge, because that's going to be a lot of intensive training, and you don't want to, unless it's someone who's going to live with them and then I just don't see it happening. And, or they're going to change the show drastically. And the other thing is that a lot of who the Jedis are talking about, they're talking about Luke Skywalker, of course, which makes a lot of sense story-wise, But this isn't the Star Wars. This isn't the Skywalker saga. So I think they're going to skip that. They're talking about Mace Windu, who I would love to see, but again, seems a little big, and I don't think Samuel L. Jackson's going. Well, I was about to say I don't think Samuel L. Jackson's going to come back for a TV series, but then he did just sign on to Secret Invasion for Marvel, so maybe. Ezra Bridger, which I think will probably come into this little Filoni or this thing, but I don't know if he'll be the one to train him. It's possible, but I don't know about probable. But I think he's more likely to be a guest. I think he's going to be the driving force for the Ahsoka Tano series. I think Ahsoka Tano is going to be hunting for Ezra Bridger and bringing down Thrawn. I think that's going to be the basis for that series. So I don't think he's going to be in it over here. Cal Kestis is an interesting choice from the Fallen Order video game. I like that idea, and I like Cameron Monaghan as an actor, but he's younger now than Cal would be in this timeline. So there would be that to deal with. But otherwise, I think that's a good choice, and Disney would like that because it would then bring players back to the game and vice versa, connecting that. There's a couple others that they've talked about, some that have never appeared in live action, and I think those would be interesting choices as well. I think it'll be an established. I mean, they could come up with just somebody random, but I think it'll be someone that's established in the lore, at least in Legends. I doubt they'll go completely new, but you never know. I just don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be someone who is bigger than the show. I don't think this needs to stay a Mandalorian show, not Mace Windu show or a Luke Skywalker show. So, and training doesn't take like a day. You stay with your Padawan, you stay with them for a while. So it's not going to be something where he's just going to be like, okay, I'm going to take him for a 2 weeks correspondence course. It's not going to be a correspondence course, or maybe he's going to get trained by Yoda as a Force ghost. That would be interesting. All right. Mainly I wanted to do was run this thing and see if I could get it up and running, and it seems to be. Now I'm going to check the YouTube, but if you pop by, I appreciate it. And yeah, let's see. Anybody over here? So that's about it. I'm going to wrap this up. I will do more of these. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos soon. Live streaming. I'm going to be doing some interviews and stuff, but that'll be an announcement coming up. I've got some things going on. Other than that, I hope you all have a good holiday, and we'll talk soon. All right, let me go back over to StreamYard and end this.